Chandrasekharanatha Mahaswamiji, seeking the divine blessings of the seer of Adi Chanchanagiri, Yuga Yogi, Paramapuja Jagadguru, Padma Bhushana, Shri 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 Dr. Balagangadharanatha Mahaswamiji, presenting my humble pranams to the lotus feet of Shriman Niranjana Pranavaswarupi, Paramapuja Jagadguru, Shri Shri Dr. Nirmalanandanatha Mahaswamiji, and all the Swamijis of Srimat. Welcome to the prestigious institution, SJC Institute of Technology. I am Vaidurya Anand and the host to this wonderful morning. Welcome to the second IEEE International Conference on Knowledge Engineering and Communication Systems. We are thrilled to have you all here today as we embark on this journey of exploration and innovation in the fields of knowledge engineering and communication systems. Before we delve into the exciting program ahead, let's take a moment to express our sincere gratitude to our sponsors, organizers, the distinguished guests, respected speakers, our esteemed participants, and the audience for making this event possible. For these 2 days, we have an incredible lineup of presentations, discussions, and networking opportunities lined up. This conference serves as a platform for experts, researchers, and enthusiasts to share their insights, discoveries, and experiences in advancing the frontiers of knowledge engineering and communication systems. On behalf of SJCIT, I wish all of you a pleasant and fruitful stay during your time in the lush green campus here. Well, it's now time for us to formally commence the event. We would like to get started with the Nada Gite. I request the entire gathering to rise for Nada Gite as a mark of respect. Thank you all. You may please take your seats now. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, and cherished participants, before we commence our journey of knowledge exchange and exploration, let us take a moment to center ourselves and invoke a spirit of inspiration, wisdom, and unity. Now I invite Ms. Sri Lakshmi from Department of Civil Engineering to invoke the Almighty.
Jai Shri Gurudev. ಫಲದಾಯಕ ನೀನೇ ವಿನಾಯಕ ಫಲದಾಯಕ ನೀನೇ ವಿನಾಯಕ ನೀ ಫಲದಾಯಕ ನೀನೇ ವಿನಾಯಕ ನೀ ಫಲದಾಯಕ ನೀನೇ ವಿನಾಯಕ ಫಲ
ಜ್ಞಾನಪೂರ್ಣ ಜಗಜ್ಯೋತಿ ನಿರ್ಮಲವಾದ ಮನವೇ ಕರ್ಪೂರದಾರತಿ.
Thank you, Pujya Mahaswamiji and the dignitaries for enlightening the ceremony by lighting the lamp. Now, I invite Dr. Manjunath Kumar BH, HOD, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, and the organizing chair of this second IEEE International Conference, to deliver the preamble about ICKECS 2024.
Jai Shri Gurudev. With the blessings of our Mahaswamiji, distinguished dignitaries on the dais, invited speakers, delegates, invitees, HODs, my fellow faculty members, friends, ladies and gentlemen, Eldrigu Namaskara. Once again, I bid a warm welcome to our event, second international conference on knowledge engineering and communication systems, ICKECS 2024. So first, I want to tell the saga of our ICKECS 2020 ICKECS conference. So this conference we are organizing in association with the technical co-sponsorship from IEEE Bangalore section. The idea of organizing an IEEE international conference under the two tracks, knowledge engineering and communication system, was coined by our beloved principal in the year 2022. So in the year 2022, we have started the working on the conference for the first international conference. The work was started in the month of February, and we have successfully conducted the first international conference in the month of December 2022. Around 225 papers were presented in the first international conference, and this is our second international conference. We are indeed very happy and honored to have about 300 plus delegates with us from different parts of the state and country in online and offline mode, and we are conducting this conference in hybrid mode. So making this conference a truly exceptional one, this conference has provided all of us a unique opportunity to participate, present and discuss the concepts, emerging trends, techniques, new developments and the experiences in the area knowledge engineering and communication systems. Ladies and gentlemen, dates of ICKECS 2024 were proposed by our beloved principal, and we have started the work in the month of June 2023. All my colleagues from the departments like CSC and its allied branches and Department of ECE have been involved and worked extremely hard for the last 10 months to make it an outstanding conference. We would like to express our sincere appreciation and thanks to all those who dedicated their precious time and efforts for the preparation of this conference. The support and timely advices from the advisory committee members, organizations, institutions and individuals have contributed significantly to the accomplishment of this conference. We have successfully managed the whole conference with a comprehensive online process for paper submission, review process, conference registration, accommodation and other services through our official website ickcs.sjcat.ac.in. Research scholars, faculty and students of reputed institutions and industries from Karnataka and most of the states in the India and even from abroad also have submitted the quality research articles on broad range of the conference theme areas. Totally we have received 925 papers. Then we have conducted peer double blind review process. Based on the result of the review process, we have accepted 292 papers for the presentation. We appreciate and extend our frank recognition to over 900 authors for their quality and innovative contributions. We had a great task of reviewing these many huge number of papers for quality submissions. Over 120 technical experts from academia and industry have participated in the review process. We are indeed grateful to all the program committee members and external reviewers for their sincere efforts in reviewing the papers. Along with me, conference secretaries Dr. Bhargavi S. and Dr. Murthy SVN handled this challenging task efficiently. This conference begins with the keynote speech by our chief guest, Mr. Suhas Gopinath and Dr. Parthasarathi Ramaswamy, followed by the Ashirvachana from our Puja Guruji. Then we have a plenary talk by Dr. S.S. Iyengar and an invited talk from Dr. Rajkumar Bhuya. Apart from these, there are 30 technical paper presentation sessions. The detailed program schedule and session schedule is given in your conference kit. We are bringing out the conference proceedings that contain abstract and introduction of quality contributions made by the researchers at this conference in the form of printed book with an ISBN in one volume. We acknowledge the efforts of Publication Committee for having done an excellent editing work. Best paper award on each theme has also been initiated to encourage and recognize the true efforts of the researchers. The nominees for this award will be recommended by the session chairs of this conference and will be awarded during the valedictory function. We acknowledge sincerely and express our deep sense of gratitude and pranams to our Puja Guruji, also chief patron of this conference. Also, we are grateful to Dr. Vidya Shankar S., Vice Chancellor VTU, for his constant support, and VTU for its wide circulation about the conference among all the affiliated institutions. We owe our special heartfelt thanks to Principal and General Chair ICKECS 2024, Dr. G.T. Raju, who appreciated the importance of this event and provided all guidance and support throughout the conference on a daily basis. Our principal, sir, commitment towards successful conduction of this conference can never be described in few words. Thank you, sir. We also acknowledge the registrar, HODs, faculty and supporting staff members of all the departments, volunteers and all those who directly or indirectly helped us in making ICKECS 2024 a grand success. Truly speaking, the success of this conference depends on strong support and active participation of all the delegates. On behalf of the organizing committee, to wish you a pleasant stay at our campus with a fruitful outcome. Thank you all and enjoy the conference. Jai Shri Gurudev. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your preamble. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed participants, it is with great pleasure and excitement that we announce the release of our conference proceedings for the second IEEE International Conference on Knowledge Engineering and Communication Systems. I request our Puja Mahaswamiji and the other dignitaries on the dais to release the conference proceedings. Puja Mahaswamiji and other dignitaries. I am delighted to announce that the conference proceedings are now available for download and distribution. You can access them through our conference website or by contacting our organizing committee. We encourage all participants to explore the conference proceedings, engage with the research presented, and continue the dialogue long after the conclusion of our event. As we officially unveiled the conference proceedings, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to all the authors and contributors who have generously shared their work with us. Your dedication and passion have enriched our conference immeasurably, and we are deeply thankful for your invaluable contributions to this second IEEE International Conference on Knowledge Engineering and Communication Systems. To kickstart our conference proceedings, we are honored to have with us today some distinguished experts who will be sharing their valuable insights and perspectives with us. Without further ado, let me introduce our esteemed keynote speaker, Mr. Suhas Gopinath. Suhas Gopinath is an Indian business person who is the founder, chief executive officer and chairman of the worldwide IT organization Globals Incorporation. 3 years after the dispatch of the organization, he became the CEO at 17 years old. Around then, he was the world's most youthful CEO of an organization. His education qualifications are Bachelor of Engineering from Ramaya Institute of Technology, Economics, Public Leadership Policy from Harvard University, Diploma on Global Leadership and Public Policy from John F. Kennedy School of Government and Harvard University. His honors and awards: World's Youngest Entrepreneur Grant by CNBC and E-Business, World's Youngest CEO Grant from Limca, BBC, Washington Times, The Age, Most Youthful CEO among the 175 beneficiaries of Karnataka's Rajyotsava Award in 2005, Young Achiever Award by the European Parliament and International Association for Human Values on 2nd December 2007. He was welcomed to address the World Bank's ICT Leadership Roundtable for embracing ICT in Africa. For 2008-2009, he was pronounced the Young Global Leader by the World Economic Forum, DAO. In 2009, Global Social Innovators Discussion consulted him with the SIP Fellow Award, as well honorary fellowship from Geetham University, Vishakhapatnam. As said by Walt Disney, all our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. Now, without further ado, I invite Mr. Suhas Gopinath to share their insights and thoughts with us.
Namaste Melarko, and I would want to start my speech with the blessings of Mahaswamiji, and I want to thank the management and the principal for extending the invitation to me for being here at the IEEE conference. I would want to start with a very small experience, the way I met Swamiji, because I think as an entrepreneur and as a corporate leader, I think it's one experience that's is probably etched in my memory. So as a company, we were giving cyber threat intelligence for the Ram Mandir opening, and on my flight back is when I met Mahaswamiji on the flight, and I think his presence on that flight, which is from Lucknow to Bangalore, had ignited everyone's fire in the belly, and that infectious positive energy that he was carrying, and of course, smiling face. So we had a conversation, and I really thought, okay, fine. Of course, Mahaswamiji is so big, so I shared my number, and I thought he would. I need to follow up one day, and I need to meet him someday. As soon as my flight landed, and before I could reach my home, I received a call from the principal of SJCIT, and he insisted that I visit. So it was, I think, about midnight then, and I think SJCIT is completely blessed to have a leader amongst you, the Mahaswamiji, who actually follows up and has a perseverance, and he values knowledge, and he values technology and innovation. I think that was actually seen, and the conversation I had, I think it's also because of the background of the Mahaswamiji himself, where he likes technology, he appreciates. And in that small conversation, we spoke about cyber security, or the way we have, or India has threats from our adversaries like China and Pakistan. So so I think, and I think I was very, very impressed in the way SJCIT would actually mobilize across scholars. So we got amazing scientists here. So I may not be the appropriate speaker to talk in front of them. We got Professor Iyengar, we got a senior scientist from Intel. So as an entrepreneur, I would like to share few things, and I was just glancing through the papers of the IEEE proceedings, and I think I think it's absolutely brilliant. It's apt. I'm on the application side, while you all, or the students, or the researchers are working very hard to innovating these solutions. I see these applications on it. So I was just seeing somebody has written a paper on SATCOM or like satellite communications. So when I built the company at the age of 14, I didn't have a computer at home, so I had my elder brother who took me to a cyber cafe, and he gifted me with an email address on my birthday, and my father used to work with the Indian Defence as a scientist, and the pocket money I had was like 15 rupees per month, and I thought that I need to go to the cyber cafe again, and it's when I requested the cyber cafe owner that when he goes for his lunch, is there any way that I could operate the shop in his absence? And the cyber cafe owner, Mr. Shubdev, he was very surprised. How come a high school kid is coming to my shop to run the shop in my lunch break? So he followed me until my house because he wanted to make sure that if mouse or keyboard in the shop is missing, he knows that okay, it is where Suhas stays, and it's when he allowed me to work in the cyber cafe since then. And I had to lie to my mother that I had joined NCC in my school, and every day I was late to home. So I really had the passion to build something on the world of internet, and I one day I went to the blackboard because I had an email address, and all my friends in my school had their own computers, so they could exchange CDs or game CDs. I didn't have one, so I wanted to show off to my friends that I had an email account, so I went to the blackboard to write my email address with its password. So the knowledge I had then was that if anyone needs to send me an email, they should know my password as well. So irony or the fast forward today is, as a company, today we are one of the largest cyber weapon supplier to the Indian government today, and we offer cyber warfare and cyber security systems. And I was the same guy who shared the password to everyone publicly on the blackboard that day. But so I think. As a member of the DST and as an advisor to the National Expert Advisory Committee of Government of India, I also represent on the policy making for the government, and especially for the aspiring entrepreneurs, especially students here and even the professors. I strongly recommend that if they could be larger focus on this applied research, because it's many times when my R&D team is actually referring to the IEEE paper, and we would want to take inspiration from these research papers, or when we contact these professors, we see that the passion that they had to write that paper would fade away because they don't see the application to it. And it's today, I think my company is very grateful because of a significant budget of ours is invested into R&D, and especially on satellite security. Actually, we very closely work with ISRO as well today, and we understand ISRO chairman was here some days back. So I think with the amazing papers which we have, like it's on artificial intelligence for predicting if somebody is going to pay a loan or not, or if you're using AI and ML to prevent a DDoS attack in cybersecurity space. I think all these are absolutely interesting, and it can be applied. And as an entrepreneur, I represent the fact that it's very important that while we have Saraswati as well, if these papers could actually it could get commercialized, you should also have Lakshmi in place, and it's very, very important to have this excellent combination. So it's exactly why the government encourages institutions to set up incubators, and I strongly recommend the principal to apply for the incubator. Of course, while the model code of conduct is in place, I'll not be able to talk much on the policy side, but I would like to mention that it's probably today India is one of the best countries to start a company, because if a student actually decides to start a company after his education, India is probably the only country in the world today which pays the student an allowance of 50,000 rupees per month for 1 year. So you don't have to take the placement, and you can say that I want to be my own boss. And if you want to start your own company today, you get a stipend which is from DST called Entrepreneur in Residence Program, where we give 50,000 rupees per month, and we give about 1 crore per year, or we give 10 crores per year for the campus to invest in startups. So I also it's also my submission to SJCIT that if you could if this conference could also translate into research-led entrepreneurship, where you can set up an incubator, because I know that actually hailing from a family where entrepreneurship was considered as a sin, and actually my mother used to tell that when I failed in a mathematics paper in my 10th exam, it was before the board exams. I still remember the conversation which my mother had when I reached home. She looks at my marks card and she tells that you actually failed in your mathematics paper, and your board exams is nearing up. And she did not know that I was going to cyber cafe and I was building a company. And her immediate reaction was, I want you to swear on my head and promise me that you will not go to the cyber cafe again. And I told my mother that the world's richest man then, Bill Gates, has not completed his education, so why do you force me to complete mine? And my mother's response in Kannada was, "Hal munde de avun jaat ka bere, nin jaat ka bere, you avun huttirad US ali, neen irad India ali, and we are from a non-business family, so it's very important that you need to complete your education." And I think I couldn't argue further, so I promised to my mother that until the board exams I'll focus on my studies, and then I'll build the company. And of course today we operate in about 14 countries today, and employing about 500 employees. And I think a defining moment in my life was that when I was a freelancer, I was a programmer all my life, even today I code. So when I was a freelancer, I was sending my CVs to American companies, asking them to employ me and employ my services. There was one American company I still remember called as Verizon Incorporated, who replied stating that at 14, I don't think you have a mustache, and we feel insecure to work with school kids. And I think it was the first and the last time in my life I told to myself that I will be on the other side, where I can start receiving CVs. I'll be my own boss, so that I don't have to send CVs to anyone else. And it's when I actually decided to start my own company, because when you're a CEO of a company, nobody will ask if you have a mustache, if you don't have a mustache, if you completed your education or not. But I think that prejudice to work with young entrepreneurs had to go. And of course now, with the policies the Indian government has today, I think it's probably the best time for entrepreneurs and students to flourish. And it's a way you can also generate employment, and it's probably the same vision which Mahaswamiji has as well, and with his passion towards innovation and also technology. Because I think the example which I illustrated, in my life I've met many politicians. I've also met many spiritual leaders. I think the type of follow-up and the perseverance and the way Mahaswamiji has ability to ignite the fire in the belly, I think you're all blessed to be in this institute. So of course with this, I wish all the best for the conference, and I sincerely hope these papers translate into commercialization, because with ample amount of funding, if you have one of this paper that you want to make it into POC, the government gives a grant of up to 10 lakh rupees, and if you want to translate into company, you get a seed fund up to 1 crore, and you get a monthly stipend of about 50,000 rupees per month. And when I was talking to the French president when he was here as our India's guest, the French president and myself, we were inducted into World Economic Forum, the same cohort.
There used to be a computer in a lab, and we would try and make use of that, sit in front of it, try to figure out what it can do for us. Fast forward today, you don't even have a computer in front of you. You may have a dumb device sitting, and you are actually having the power that is as good as a supercomputer. And how is that possible? Right? So that's where we come in. We provide the interconnect technologies. So I'm an interconnect expert. That basically means I connect computers. So when I connect computers, they operate. So you take your so-called workloads. These are the workloads, means these are the things that you provide the computer a problem statement and you want it to solve. For example, a very big workload could be a weather forecasting or a fission reaction in a nuclear plant. These are not simple things, right? They require billions of computation, trillions of parameters to come together. They have to look at various patterns and all that kind of stuff. This is not possible to just do it with one computer. You need multiple computers. This is not a new thing. But what is new is we are actually able to parallelize compute like never before. And that has been possible because we are able to interconnect them in a very, very nice way. Nice in the sense it can actually happen at the speed of light. And data transfer between two computers is so amazingly fast today that you don't even notice that it is somewhere in Florida or somewhere in US that you are actually, or in Europe, that you are actually dealing with. So the point here is there is a lot of hardware that is sitting behind that works for you. Please don't forget that. Okay, on the later side. So my journey started primarily focusing on computers in 2003 when I joined Intel. And those days Intel or computers, if you see, had certain level of power, right? Fast forward today, if you take the same computer and look at it, your smartphone can do a 10x of that job that 20 years ago we used to do. That's the level and performance gain that we have been able to bring. As Intel, we have been able to push the technologies and make that work for us. And every 2 years, we double the amount of compute we have. That's called Moore's law, right? So Moore was one of the founders of Intel. He had predicted that this is going to happen, and it happened. It started about 50 years ago. The same thing is continuing even today. Every 2 years, we double the compute or double the number of devices that we use to compute. And today, we are continuing to make that happen. So rest assured, hardware will continue to support whatever be the demands. The recent entry of AI, right, artificial intelligence, is a big thing for the whole world. Generative AI especially, I think, has been a blessing. I would call it blessing in one sense. We can talk about it, argue about it, but it has made a lot of inroads into almost all companies. So today a farmer in a tribal village can actually sell his goods to worldwide, maybe on an Amazon platform. Similarly, there can be things that can happen through internet, where a person in a backward area can learn today, which he could never have done. Thanks to pandemic, by the way, we have accelerated that. But all these things, whatever I'm quoting, are coming because there is a computer, there is a sort of a interconnect mechanism that's behind it, that's propelling this whole thing. Again, I want to say that this is not the end of it, right? Today, I don't know how many of you have heard of NVIDIA. NVIDIA is an AI company, and it has been doing a lot of wonderful things in the AI domain. And all your GPTs or LLama models, they're all basically trained based on some hardware, and that hardware happens to be NVIDIA, right? So there is hardware that is continuing to grow at the same pace as I was explaining to capture all your imaginations. So whatever you have got your software, right, it needs to run. And the key thing is those algorithms have improved drastically, as I understand. Hardware is available to you to make it happen. These days you can actually order hardware on demand, right? You can get so many number of cores, you can get so many gigabytes rather, or terabytes of memory, right? All these things are available to you. You don't have to spend money, say, hey, I have to upgrade my machine to run this software. No, today you can use Azure or any of the other cloud services and make that happen. So like how Suhas was saying, you need to think about how you can take this theoretical paper, or part of that may be theory, I don't know, and convert it into something very helpful, useful, and you can translate it into some money at the end of the day. As an entrepreneur, Suhas has a lot more experience than I do, but what I have seen in my administration courses is that this is not an easy task. Getting to that requires a lot of toil and effort, but the ground today is ready for you to make it happen. Think of it. India has the highest number of has a large number of internet connections. Number two, it has the most number of smartphones. It has amazing engineers like you, research engineers, who can translate work from research and translate it into actual useful hard. By the way, I'm part of a semiconductor consortium that is across India, and my job is to actually bring a message to everyone I meet. What I say is, in India we had lacked the semiconductor race, right? We were behind. It was dominated by Taiwan and China and all that. So recently, after all the pandemic, you saw how the supply of cars and supply of major electronic equipment got disrupted. So we decided, along with big companies like Tata and others, we decided that we will make our own chips. So the chips are going to come here. We have already announced up to about $15 billion of investment in India that will enable this manufacturing to happen in India. So we expect that in future, right, we are getting to $1 trillion, getting to the third spot in our GDP, right, across the world. So we are at 5th today. As we approach the third spot and get to the $10 trillion economy, we need to have all these aspects, right? The supply chain should be in order. I'm focusing primarily on hardware, but that can be true for software also. Critical components, right? And connectivity. All these things have to come together. Just to add one more small point. So in India today, about 50 to 60% of the people have internet connection. What about the remaining 40 to 50%? Okay, so I developed a technology that actually can solve that problem. We have patented that, and we are working with IISc to take it forward. Our goal is to actually make use of the electrical connections. You have seen wires going, right? So what we do is we inject internet wave at one point in the wire, and then over a few kilometers, tens of kilometers, we are going to take it back. Today, India has 99.5% of villages already electrified. All we need is use those wires. So this technology we are trying to deploy across. We have already shown it to political people, including Rajiv Chandrasekhar and also Modi, who have looked at it and have said that this is a wonderful concept, we should take it forward. So I'm excited that we are in a wonderful time where everything is coming together. All we need is your will to make it happen, make it successful. So with that, I will end my note by thanking again everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your wonderful words. Today, we have one more esteemed guest, Dr. S.S. Iyengar with us. Dr. S.S. Iyengar is currently the Rider Professor of Computer Science and the Director of the School of Computing and Information Sciences at Florida International University, FIU, Miami. He is also the founding director of the Discovery Lab. Prior to joining FIU, Dr. Iyengar was the Roy Paul Daniels Distinguished Professor and Chairman of the Computer Science Department for over 20 years at Louisiana State University. His education qualifications are: Professor Iyengar earned his undergraduate and graduate degrees at UVCE Bangalore and the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and a doctoral degree from Mississippi State University. I request Dr. S.S. Iyengar to address the gathering.
Thank you very much. It's an honor and a privilege to be here, especially under the direction and leader of our Swamiji. And So I was thinking after looking into Swamiji's face and things like that, where have I seen this wonderful spiritual leader? And apparently it looks like 15 years back I was here in this conference. Not conference, I was visiting this university by somebody by name Mr. Halappa, who is not here anymore. And at that point, our gracious spiritual person here is so nice, and this university has really become one of the a real global university competing, and especially with the context of this second international conference of knowledge and communication is beautiful, because I will tell you in, I think, 1 minute. I'll give you a detailed technical talk sometime in another 1 hour this afternoon. You know that I left India 54 years back in 1970 after graduating from Indian Institute of Science. Later on I became a Satish Dhawan professor, Homi Baba, so many professorship in India. But this India, what I am seeing, especially for the last few years, is a different India. This is not the India what I saw, because I have seen in the East, West, not only in some of the premier institutions like IIT, but even the second tier and third tier institutions. Any time when there is an invitation, if I get an invitation from institute, I would say, well, let me want to give preference to a little lower tier institution, because I would see a lot of outstanding people that I see, in the last few years. And here is one example of our, was an entrepreneur, and I heard about him but did not see that he is so young. And so he has the best worlds ahead with all the beautiful minds that we have. I think in about 30 seconds I want to tell you a beautiful story. This is very compelling to me. The reason for that, this applies very much. You must have heard of a very famous scientist by name Ramanujam, a very, very greatest mathematical scientist of the century. And he was doing a lot of good work, but unfortunately I'm talking in 1927 or 28, people were there to appreciate but not able to understand what is that he is contributing. Then he wrote a letter to Professor Hardy at Oxford University and said, just give me an opportunity, here are my papers. I would like you to read and tell me what should I do. Professor Hardy was a very famous scientist in those days. And then what happened was, immediately he saw, my God, this is one of the best works that has been done in the world. So they invited Professor Ramanujam for 3 years. He spent a lot of good time. Then he came back and he passed away. But the interesting story here is, Professor Hardy was invited at Harvard University in 1942 to give a talk to all of the mathematicians. There were no computer scientists in those days, and all of the physicists. And so everybody was sitting, and Professor Hardy gave a keynote talk. And after the talk, there were 1,000 people, students, faculty from all over the East Coast. Then they said, Professor Hardy, you tell me honestly, you have contributed a lot. What is that one work that you can think is the best that you have done in your life? Then Professor Hardy's response was, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think I have done anything good, but there is one thing which I have done, which none of you will be able to do, is discovering a greatest scientist like Ramanujam. So with that note, I echo the same principles. There are a lot of Ramanujams, C.N.R. Raos, so many Iyengar, so many people are here. But our job as professors, scientists, leaders is to discover not only one person, there are multiple people around the different universities and entrepreneurship in India. So with this note, I want to again thank you for giving me an opportunity. And I will be talking a little more technical stuff on the cyber security aspect of it very soon. Thank you again.
Thank you, sir, for your wonderful and motivating words. Today we have our guest of honor, Dr. Parmesha Chari BD, SAC Chair, IEEE Bangalore Section, and Professor and Head of the Department of ECE, NMIT, Bengaluru. I request Dr. Parmesha Chari BD to address the gathering.
Very good morning to one and all present here. My pranams to Swamiji. I am happy to be here on the occasion of second international conference on knowledge engineering communication system ICKECS 2024. Respected dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, and the guests who joined online, IEEE members and my fellow participants, it is my great pleasure to be here. Before speaking about the conference, I would like to share the few insights about IEEE. Being a student activity committee chair of IEEE Bangalore section, we know that IEEE is the world's largest professional organization. So with technical professionals, more than 450,000 members in over 160 countries around the world. Association with the technical professional body will help in receiving recognition by the bodies, accreditation bodies like NBA and the NAC. IEEE Bangalore section is one of the vibrant dynamic IEEE section across the globe. IEEE Bangalore section is offering seed money to the student branches up to 50,000 based on the membership and activities conducted by every year. And also IEEE Bangalore section has initiated scholarship for students, those who are having less than 8 lakhs income. And also IEEE Bangalore section is giving travel grants to the students appearing for Tier 1 conference outside India. The Student Activity Committee in IEEE Bangalore section is fundamental pillar of IEEE's student-centric program, and SACS serves as the driving force behind our student-oriented initiatives, advocating for member activities and benefits. And the main benefits of IEEE members is the IEEE student member can participate in IEEE exciting contests like IEEE Extreme and also IEEE Hackathon. All the volunteers of student branch or section, they can apply for awards and scholarships, and they can apply for project funds, attend top technical conferences at low member rates. Once you become an IEEE member, we are having an opportunity to become volunteer and give back to the society. So there are 39 technical societies in IEEE representing the wide range of IEEE technical interests. So IEEE is not limited only to computer science and electronics and electrical. All branches of engineering, even management people can also join for IEEE, and you can start the various society chapters. So even for mechanical engineering, they can start the vehicular technology. You can establish the vehicular technology and robotics automation society. Even civil engineering, they can start oceanic engineering and geoscience and remote sensing. So you know that computer society, you can start by computer science department. Even IEEE computational intelligence society, A&ML, AIDS, other branches can start those chapters. For establishing these chapters, we require only 6 students and 1 faculty advisor for starting those chapters. So few society chapters will also provide seed money in the beginning to stabilize your student branch. I suggest and appreciate all the students and faculty members of SJCAT to utilize the benefits of being an IEEE member. IEEE student branch of SJCAT is one of the vibrant student branch across IEEE Bangalore section, and congratulations to all the IEEE student branch volunteers. I request you to update your office bearer details and update the events in IEEE V tools, even including your today's event. Coming to this conference focus on variety of emerging areas from theory to practice. The event is unique opportunity for sharing advanced knowledge on many technical fundamental topics, which serves as the core of an increasing number of applications. So many of our today's problems require interdisciplinary approach towards resolution, and such congregation helps people network to establish collaboration. It facilitates creating a broad and pervasive awareness about intricacies of technologies, trends in research, and impactful applications in industry. Being the technical program chair of this conference, I am amazed by looking the number of submissions, which is more than 920 plus papers. I personally congratulate the organizing committee, their efforts for a huge number of papers. Through rigorous review process, the TPC has been accepted 292 papers. The presentation of this conference The acceptance rate is around 30%, which is the benchmark in IEEE. We know that IEEE is known for quality. We should continue this type of scrutiny process to maintain the quality of the conference. I take this opportunity to thank the management of SJC Institute of Technology, Bangalore, His Holiness Paramapuja Jagadguru Shri Dr. Nirmalanandanatha Mahaswamiji, President Shri Adi Chinchanagiri Shikshana Trust, for organizing such a wonderful conference. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to my beloved teacher and my mentor, Dr. G.T. Raju sir, principal of this esteemed institution, for extending the invitation to this remarkable conference. I am forever thankful to him for his guidance and mentorship, which have been instrumental in my growth. It's an honor to stand before you today, a testament to his nurturing influence in my life. Thank you, sir. I extend my congratulations to Dr. Manjunath Kumar BH and his dedicated team for their outstanding efforts in coordinating this significant event. Their hard work and dedication have been instrumental in making this event a grand success. I once again thank everyone for joining this conference and for making it a grand event. Let's light together the lamp of knowledge. Let's share our knowledge and contribute a better world. Together we can make the difference. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir, for your address.
ಶ್ರೀಮನ್ನಿರಂಜನ ಪ್ರಣವ ಸ್ವರೂಪಿ ಪರಮ ಪೂಜ್ಯ ಜಗದ್ಗುರು ಶ್ರೀ 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 ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ನಿರ್ಮಲಾನಂದನಾಥ ಮಹಾಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿ is renowned for his profound wisdom, spiritual guidance, and unwavering commitment to serving humanity. His insights and blessings will undoubtedly inspire.
ತಿಳಿವಾವುದಿಲೆಗೆ ಯುಗ ಯುಗದ ಬೆಳಕಾಗಿತ್ತೋ ಹಳತೆಂದು ನೀನದನು ಹಳಿಯುವೆಯೋ ಮರುಳೆ ತಳಹದಿಯದಲ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲ ಹೊಸ ತಿಳಿವಂಗೆ ಹಳೆಬೇರು ಹೊಸ ಚಿಗುರು ಹಳೆಬೇರು ಹೊಸ ಚಿಗುರು ಮಂಕುತಿಮ್ಮ ಮಂಕುತಿಮ್ಮ ನೀನೇ ದಯಾಳು ನಿರ್ಮಲ ಚಿತ್ತ ಗೋವಿಂದ ನಿಗಮ ಗೋಚರ ಮುಕುಂದ ನೀನೇ ದಯಾಳು ನಿರ್ಮಲ ಚಿತ್ತ ಗೋವಿಂದ ನಿಗಮ ಗೋಚರ ಮುಕುಂದ ಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳ ರಸ ನೀನಲ್ಲವೇ ಜಗಕ್ಕಿನ್ನು ಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳ ರಸ ನೀನಲ್ಲವೇ ಜಗಕ್ಕಿನ್ನು ಮಾನದಿಂದಲಿ ಕಾಯುವ ದೊರೆಗಳನ ಕಾಣೆ ಮಾನದಿಂದಲಿ ಕಾಯುವ ದೊರೆಗಳನ ಕಾಣೆ ನೀನೇ ಬಗೆ ಬಗೆಯಲಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಸ್ತುತಿಸುವೆ ನಗದರ ಖಗಪತಿ ವಾಹನನೆ ನಿನ್ನ ಬಗೆ ಬಗೆಯಲಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಸ್ತುತಿಸುವೆ ನಗಧರ ಖಗಪತಿ ವಾಹನನೆ ನಿನ್ನ ಮಗುವಿನ ಮಾತೆಂದು ನಗುತ್ತ ಕೇಳಿ ನೀನು, ಮಗುವಿನ ಮಾತೆಂದು ನಗುತ್ತ ಕೇಳಿ ನೀನು, ಬೇಗದಿಂದಲೇ ಕಾಯೋ ಸಾಗರ ಶಯನನೆ, ಬೇಗದಿಂದಲೇ ಕಾಯೋ ಸಾಗರ ಶಯನನೆ ನೀನೇ. ದಾನವಾಂತಕ ದೀನ ಜನ ಮಂದಾರನೆ, ಧ್ಯಾನಿ ಪರಮನ ಸಂಚಾರನೆ, ದಾನವಾಂತಕ ದೀನ ಜನ ಮಂದಾರನೆ, ಧ್ಯಾನಿ ಪರಮನ ಸಂಚಾರನೆ. ಮೌನವಾದೆನು ನಿನ್ನ ಧ್ಯಾನಾನಂದದಿ ಈಗ, ಮೌನವಾದೆನು ನಿನ್ನ ಧ್ಯಾನಾನಂದದಿ ಈಗ, ಸಾನುರಾಗದಿ ಕಾಯೋ ಸಾಗರ ಶಯನನೆ, ಸಾನುರಾಗದಿ ಕಾಯೋ ಸಾಗರ ಶಯನನೆ ನೀನೇ. ಮಂದರೋದ್ಧರ ಅರವಿಂದಲೋಚನ ನಿನ್ನ ಕಂದ ನಿಂದೆಣಿಸೋ ಎನ್ನ, ಮಂದರೋದ್ಧರ ಅರವಿಂದಲೋಚನೆ ನಿನ್ನ ಕಂದ ನಿಂದೆಣಿಸೋ ಎನ್ನ. ಸಂದೇಹಬೇಕಿನ್ನು ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಮುಕುಂದನೇ, ಸಂದೇಹಬೇಕಿನ್ನು ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಮುಕುಂದನೆ, ಬಂದೆನ್ನ ಕಾಯೋ ಶ್ರೀ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲನೆ, ಬಂದೆನ್ನ ಕಾಯೋ ಶ್ರೀ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲನೆ ನೀನೇ. ದಯಾಳೋ ನಿರ್ಮಲ ಚಿತ್ತ ಗೋವಿಂದ, ನಿಗಮ ಗೋಚರ ಮುಕುಂದ, ಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳ ರಸ ನೀನಲ್ಲವೇ ಜಗಕ್ಕಿನ್ನು, ಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳ ರಸ ನೀನಲ್ಲವೇ ಜಗಕ್ಕಿನ್ನು, ಮಾನದಿಂದಲೇ ಕಾಯುವ ದೊರೆಗಳ ನಾ ಕಾಣೆ, ಮಾನದಿಂದಲೇ ಕಾಯುವ ದೊರೆಗಳ ನಾ ಕಾಣೆ ನೀನೇ, ನೀನೇ, ನೀನೇ. ಜೈ ಶ್ರೀ ಗುರುದೇವ್.
ತಮ್ಮ ಸುಶ್ರಾವ್ಯವಾದ ಕಂಠದಿಂದ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಧುರ್ಯವನ್ನು ತುಂಬಿದ ಪೂಜ್ಯ ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿಯವರಿಗೆ ವೇದಿಕೆಯ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. Our Mahaswamiji's insights and blessings will undoubtedly inspire and uplift us as we embark on this intellectual journey at the second IEEE International Conference on Knowledge Engineering and Communication Systems. With great reverence and humility, I kindly request our Pujya Mahaswamiji to deliver the Ashirvachana, bestowing upon us his divine blessings and guidance.
ಹರಿ ಓಂ ತತ್ಸತ್. ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಾನಂದಂ ಪರಮಸುಖದಂ ಕೇವಲಂ ಜ್ಞಾನಮೂರ್ತಿಂ ದ್ವಂದ್ವಾತೀತಂ ಗಗನ ಸದೃಶಂ ತತ್ವಮಸ್ಯಾದಿಲಕ್ಷ್ಯಂ ಏಕಂ ನಿತ್ಯಂ ವಿಮಲಂ ಅಚಲಂ ಸರ್ವಧಿ ಸಾಕ್ಷಿಭೂತಂ ಭಾವಾತೀತಂ ತ್ರಿಗುಣರಹಿತಂ ಸದ್ಗುರುಂ ತಂ ನಮಾಮಿ. ಶ್ರೀ ವಿದ್ಯಾಂ ಜಗತಾಂ ಧಾತ್ರಿಂ ಸರ್ಗಸ್ಥಿತಿಲಯೇಶ್ವರೀಂ ನಮಾಮಿ ಲಲಿತಾಂ ನಿತ್ಯ ಮಹಾತ್ರಿಪುರಸುಂದರೀಂ. On this occasion, during second IEEE International Conference on Knowledge Engineering and Communication Systems, I submit my humble pranams to the divine soul of His Holiness Jagadguru, Padma Bhushana Dr. Sri Balgangadhar Mahaswamiji. My special greetings to all the divine dignitaries like Suhas Gopinath, who is into many things apart from his own company. Quite recently during inauguration of Sri Ram temple, as yes mentioned over there in Ayodhya, we happened to meet over there. I asked him to visit our institution to guide, being a beacon for the modern youth and our institution students over here. He has narrated what all happened. I must appreciate our principal, Dr. Raju, keeping in his memory and his mind. He has invited. As a result, Suhas Gopinath came here, being an inspiring personality to you all. If at all, if there is any self-doubt upon yourself, he is the one from whom you can get an example for achieving certain things in your life. Mr. Gopinath again. Dr. Parsarthi Ramaswamy, being a principal engineer in Intel, humbly he has submitted what all he knew, what he experienced, what he can do, still more to the society, how we can make our country sublime. One more distinguished professor, Dr. S.S. Iyengar, from Florida International University, Miami, where I visited a year ago. During that time, I didn't know that professor was there in the station, because of which I couldn't meet. He said about 15 years ago he came to our campus and he was expressing his joy having seen all the developments which happened in the last 1.5 decades. And he was expressing his liking towards this institution, how we can rise this campus to international standard like MIT, Harvard and Princeton. I know there is substance over here, but certain things to be added and certain mindset should be changed. Eventually it is the mind with which we are going to do everything. If at all, if there are good universities like Oxford, Cambridge, Princeton, Harvard, MIT, they are not because of beautiful buildings and such, rather because of the beautiful minds they are created. If we change the mindset, everything is going to change. So with which he was mentioning, and we are open for all, because always we have a trust and the faith upon our ancient India statement, Ano Bhadraha, Kratavu Yantu, Vishwataha, let noble thoughts would come to us from nook and corner of the universe, not just by one city or one country, nook and corner of the universe. Such is the embracing capacity and the openness of our country and the people, with which we are ready to accept all those things to bring the glory and the sublimity to the system, through where we are going to spread the knowledge and the wisdom across the world. Mr. Parameshwarachari, Doctor, he has mentioned what he wanted to, along with Dr. Raju, principal of the institution, who is the reason for this great program, and Dr. N. Sivaram Reddy as a Chief Academic Advisor, Administrator of our Adichinchini Sectional Trust of this area. Equally important thing is that distinguished scientists, technocrats, industrialists, and researchers, students, faculty of our institutions who are here. And also I appreciate those who have joined online, witnessing and presenting this program. As a sannyasi, I don't know, I may be an odd man out for this program. ನಾನು ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಶಿವರಾಮ್ ರೆಡ್ಡಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ, I had heard only about spiritual engineering, engineering of the wisdom. Never I had heard about knowledge engineering. Knowledge engineering, we know that it is a part of or a continuation of artificial intelligence. Is it truly new to the system? No. Already this knowledge engineering, as we know, is in existence, where till now we were using in limited areas like diagnosing in the healthcare system and operating and controlling, regulating the satellites over there. Time has come now that wherein this very knowledge engineering and communication system should be used under artificial intelligence and machine learning for the various aspects of the life. Only when we start using available technology, then only it is going to be benefited. So we are all here to drive the cutting edge technology and the research, and to find the solution, and to face the challenges at global level, and to spread the quality of human life, quality to the life for the human beings. So if these many things are going to happen through this conference, international conference, it is not just a state or national conference, ultimately technology is going to be appreciated. But when we start using the technology, if we don't know certain things of the life, it is going to be derailed. Long ago, about 120 years ago, Albert Einstein has mentioned, science has succeeded in splitting an atom. Is it anything wrong? Is it wrong to make use of his theory and the formula to split an atom, because of which enormous amount of energy is going to be released? If you know mindfully how to make use of that, it is going to bring all the peace and harmony to the society, and it is going to alleviate the problems of the human being. But if you do not know, his statement continues. Man has succeeded in splitting an atom. Of course, he may be the reason for having invented that equation is equal to mc squared. As a result, we have seen what's happened later. Man has succeeded in splitting an atom before acquiring the wisdom of uniting human hearts. Unless and otherwise we know what for all these innovations and the research should happen, if it is not for the welfare and the comfort of the human being, if it is going to be danger and detrimental for the very existence of the existence in broader sense I'm telling, then what for these innovations are? So he says it is not wrong in making a people or finding or innovating an equation or formula to split an atom, but we have to give some insight. Unless and otherwise there is a spiritual engineering, spiritual insight, only looking into the external world, craving for certain only the worldly and mundane comforts, obviously human race or the creation as a whole is at stake. It's because of that, along with this one, if we can add the spiritual dimension also for this kind of platforms, innovations and research activities, and the conference are going to find value. ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಗೋಪಿನಾಥ್ ಹೇಳಿದರು, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಕೋಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಂಡಕ್ಟ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸಪೋಸ್ ಟು ಸ್ಪೀಕ್ ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್, ಬಟ್ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಈಸ್ ಅವೈಲಬಲ್ ಎವ್ರಿವೇರ್, ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ನೋ ಆಫ್ ಇಟ್. ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಜನಸಂಖ್ಯೆ ಅಬೌಟ್ 145 crores, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್? What is the population of America, USA? The USA? Around 35 crores. Okay, around 35 crores. You see, when it comes to research, patents, because they all have mentioned what all the papers they are going to be presented now, they should be translated into auction. After having presented, if they are not going to be translated for the best utilization, the use of the society, for the welfare of the mankind, what's the use of conducting these kind of conferences? What is the necessity of presenting these many papers? So the limitation of our country first we should know, and later we can think how we can come out of these constraints and where exactly we have been standing. That first we should know. ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, as far as the patent is concerned, patent is almost the last part of the activities which we perform before entering into the auction. In our country, it is said per year patents are happening around 65,000 Same is there in China, about 16 lakhs. If 65,000 patents happened in our country, over there in China, about 16 lakhs. Over there in your country, I think that you are a citizen of that country, though you are Indian. In that country, for 35 crore population, over there 6 lakh patents. For 148 crores, where we are standing first in the world, our patents are somewhere 65 or 66,000, not crossing, I'm sure that not crossing 70,000. In China, 16 lakhs, America, 6 lakhs. Where are we? When you look into GDP, with which we are going to measure the strength of the economy of our country, though we are in fifth place, when you look into the contribution of the different sectors for our economy, of course 54 or 55% from the service sector, 17% from the agriculture sector, 26 or 27% from manufacturing sector. If these many things to be improved, research is the one criteria where that should be supported in all respect. If there is a lot of encouragement, lot of funding would happen, and contribution for this research in the GDP, in all the countries you can see, even in the smallest developing countries, research contribution, research share is quite high. It is not that our country has not been investing. About 15 years ago, that was about 35,000 to 40 crores with respect to the research. Now it is increased to more than 1.25 lakh crores. True. Still, our vision was to rise this research contribution to 2% of total GDP, but we have not yet met. If we are able to invest for research activities, obviously we are going to produce our own technology, our own principles, with which manufacturing industries are going to come to our country. Instead of our people flying away from here to work for somebody, if we start working over here itself, from the manufacturing sector, if it is rise to somewhere 40 to 50% GDP contribution, our country is going to be flourished like anything. If that is to happen, research activity, innovations are very pivotal. If that is to happen, these kind of international conferences are very, very important. So it is not just to learn and to go to work in the service sectors to earn some money for our life. Like this guy, like this professor, like the person, we should risk our life for the welfare of millions and millions. If we start taking care of our own life, then who else is there to take care of the society? Someone has to take the risk of that. Scientific domain and innovation and scientists and technologies are very, very important for the growth and for the progress of any country. Yella karanadinda, today I have all the confidence that things which are going on, which are going to happen over here, going to set the light for the future course of action in the field of innovation and research. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾಲೇಜಿನಲ್ಲಿ IEEE second conference, once in 2022, it's happened elsewhere. So fortunate that system has accepted to choose our system to conduct this second international conference, through which so many papers are going to be presented. ಆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪೇಪರ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸತ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರದ ಉಪಯೋಗಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕೆಲಸ ಆಗಲಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಶೇರ್ ಅವರ್ ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್, ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ದ ನ್ಯೂವರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್, ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ do as many good things as possible in making our country sublime and great. So once again inviting you all for this international conference, once again greeting all the divine dignitaries and the guests who are present on the dais. I conclude my words. Jai Shri Gurudev.
Thank you, Mahaswamiji, for gracing us with your presence and blessing us with your words of wisdom and encouragement. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and valued participants, as we draw the curtains on the inaugural of second IEEE Conference on Knowledge Engineering and Communication Systems, it is my privilege to extend a heartfelt note of gratitude to all those who have made this event a resounding success. Now, I once again thank all of you for making this conference a resounding success. As we move forward, we have a series of insightful technical sessions planned covering a diverse range of topics including artificial intelligence, machine learning, data analytics, and wireless communication. Let us honor our nation and its ideals with the singing of our national anthem. I kindly request everyone to rise for national anthem.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Thank you all once again for joining us, and let's make this conference a resounding success. I request all the audience to stay back for the invited and plenary talks.
Where is the talk? The talk is going to be downstairs?
No, sir.
Or is here?
I hope it is.
Huh?
I request everyone to please be seated for a group photo.
Check 1 2 3 4 5. Hello, check. Check 1 2 3.
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಇದಿಲ್ವೇನ್ರಿ ನೋಡಕ್ಕೆ?
Check 1 2 3.
Hello? Yeah.
Check 1 2 3.
Slides. How do I move the slides?
Check. Check 1 2 3.
An idea, but how do you implement many of these ideas? So I'm going to talk about a very important area of hacking. So today, and this is a real new idea. America, some of them have not come back, most of them are staying there, but there has been a lot of good collaboration that we've been doing. But for the last 2 years, I've been focusing being at NFSU because that is a main forensic science university in the country and in the world. That is the first one. Go to the next slide. So there are 2 important books I have written recently, and I hope you read it. One is Mathematical Theories of Machine Learning. People talk about machine learning, but they really do not have a very foundational concept of what machine learning is. How do we train data? How do you make the data perfect? Then there is a very new book. I hope you are going to read it. It's already come, called Deep Learning: Design, Development and Deployment. So in this 3D learning book, one with Professor Jai Kumar from IIT Bombay and one from University of Southern California and myself. This is a very famous book. I hope some of you who are in the artificial intelligence and machine learning have been able to see this. So of course, we have written a large number of papers and books. I had 65 PhD students under me in the last maybe 40 years, and a lot of people worked in many areas of computer science and engineering. Go to the next slide. You talk about information security. If you look at the information security, we talked about it in 2010 when Abdul Kalam was visiting America. You see that I'm also so we were on a joint collaborative agreement with Rice University in Houston, Texas. So myself, Abdul Kalam and a few of the people, we are signing, and at that point in time, President Abdul Kalam was talking about the need for information security in India. I'm talking in 2010, it's 14 years back. So there's nothing new. The last maybe 14-15 years, we have done a lot of interesting things on that. And he specifically told me, Professor Iyengar, you are very well known. I would like you to start this. Come back to India and work. So we've been working on many of the information security aspect of it. So I am sure you must be hearing a lot of news. Did you hear this, which is published in New York Times? Did you hear about that programmer and web control who kind of thwarted a cyber attack. Very important. So Microsoft programmer, cyber global attack in New York Times published. The engineer found a piece of malicious code that would allow a hacker to secretly run his own code. The phone usage data, accelerometer, gyroscope, typing, swiping, all those things. So if we are using sensors, we are also looking at feature extraction from sensors, location features. All of those things are very, very important. Now phase 2 of it is what we call as applying the machine learning techniques. Now you remember, whenever we try to integrate data, there's always a lot of uncertainty. The data is not enough. Then how do you go back and train your data using convolution neural network model? So these model can again give you a lot of history based on the machine learning techniques. So it can certainly give you what we call as pre-attack prediction. So that means even before a person is kind of attacking, we are able to see how good he is. So we are able to do the analysis much ahead of time. So that is called pre-attack. So threat prediction and then threat identification. Then we also look at the behavioral analysis, like what kind of a person is he? Is he a kind of a lunatic or some homeless person, somebody who doesn't know what he's doing? And so we do what we call as a forensic analysis. So phase 3 of it, we have to use neural techniques and AI techniques for interpretation of the data. So we already looked at the identification, we already know who has done what, we looked at the behavioral analysis, and then applied the forensic analysis. So the forensic analysis and other things will come after what we call as the post-attack identification. That means there are 2 phases here. One, during the attack, we are able to do a lot of things. We collected a lot of data from the social media, all sorts of data, and we did a lot of feature analysis, we did the identity analysis, and then based on that data, we are able to use deep learning techniques to see, for example, what is the implication of this attack. He killed children. What is the reason for him killing? Does he have a background? So we do all of those things as the post-attack identification analysis. So enhancing the reliability of transfer learning. So now what we are trying to do with all of this machine learning technique is, how do you take this data? How do you incorporate the domain knowledge of the data? And then we ensemble the models, and then we do what is called as adaptive few-shot learning and meta-learning. So this in whole spectrum gives you what we call as enhance the reliability of transfer learning. Now example of data collection, okay? Now task that is performed, transcription, browsing, note to taking, input output, operating system windows, and average predictions, demographic, span of data collection. So we collect every bit of data that we need in order to do a complete analysis on this. Now phase 2. Now as we said, there is always an uncertainty in the data that we collect. There is no guarantee that this is the best data. So what we do is, we do what we call as innovation approach by embedding certain type of uncertainty estimation within the training phase of the data. When we do the neural network learning phase, and this is what is called as uncertainty aware transfer learning to improve the reliability of what the learned has been. So the method, what we have discovered, essentially involves different layers of neural network model. So it's not a one-layer model, it's a deep learning techniques. So there's a dropout layer during the training, and then sort of generate multiple outputs to see how you are able to get the output in a better form. So therefore, in this context of uncertainty learning, estimating the output distribution, calculating the model's uncertainty, and incorporating this uncertainty directly into the training loss function. So there is a mathematics, and we have developed for all of these applications. Okay? So phase 3, so we independently identify novel phenomena in this. What is a normal anomaly detection model you can develop for this problem? This module can facilitate the identification of any outlier in your data, because in many of these learning outlier, you understand what is an outlier, that can phase out the entire process. So we take into account. Then we used and leverage an unsupervised learning for pattern discovery. Do we see a good pattern? And incorporate the real-time process. So our system, what we have developed in this innovation, is to integrate and analysis patterns across all the various data types, domains, accounting for inter-domain relationships. Because many of these forensic analysis that we talk about, there are what we call as mystery connections that exist among the data. That is not very apparent by looking at it, not even by using statistical. So how do you so look at the pattern and talk about the reinforcement learning, and so see how you're going to do it. So we have a lot of techniques called machine learning texting anomaly detection. Transfer learning is one. And then we also use hidden Markov models, because statistical models that we've been used for modeling temporal sequence of observation. In addition to that, we use Markovian models, and which will probably give you a better sets of data for communication logs and social media posts. Okay? So there are 3 important data streams. One is data sources, cross-stream correlation, and also forensic analysis. So these are the 3 methods that have been used for basically doing this. So the technical approach for forensic aftermath of the attack, you do a detailed forensic analysis, where, what, when, all the planning of the events took place, who did it, what is the focus, is the prediction, and analyze the text, social media, to see if there was any evidence. So finally, whether there are variables that are not known, but they are showing up in your post hoc prediction algorithms. So AI and machine learning techniques that we are using is basically machine learning algorithms, unsupervised algorithms techniques. It is called SVM, that SVM vector, and implementation, integrate this anomaly detection, system monitoring, and also infrastructure and the real time. Now then we also use what we call as the predictive analysis, and incorporate the AI and incorporate the algorithms for forecasting potential threats and applications. You leverage this predictive analysis to identify pattern and instance. So this is what. So the security aspect of it is adaptive response mechanism, because our AI methods, since the threats are kind of dynamically changing, we have to design algorithms which can adapt and to response mechanisms. So we are called dynamic threats. And these dynamic threats that comes have to be integrated very essentially. So there are a lot of case studies we have done. One, of course, is a manufacturing facility, a large manufacturing facility that produces a lot of critical components. Then a disgruntled employee sort of creates an operation that is very bad. So how do you sort of look into it, analyze the AI algorithms, integration with this physical security, and the lessons learned so far on that. So these are what are called as integrated warning systems. So these are kinds of systems that are embedded to detect and alert about the potential disasters. So these are the warning systems have to be integrated in real time, and this has become an automated system based on the application. So there is an example too, geographical information for risk mapping, and that this is also very important because visualizing and analyzing spatial data, And the best practices is, mapping under critical application. Then drones and remote sensing, how exactly you can drones, underwater, above water and so on, and how do you sort of map it, and how do you take the damage assessment, and how do you sort of use these deployed drones, at what point in time and so on. So all these things are done. Then of course, artificial intelligence and predictive intelligence, because all that we are trying to do is to use some of these database techniques for analyzing. Then of course the last one is the cloud computing for data storage and accessibility. Everything nowadays is cloud computing, okay? Cloud computing in disaster management. So when we use that, we have to make how secure the data is. And we have to be able to use cloud platforms for secure and scalable data storage and ensuring data accessibility for multiple stakeholders in real time. So ongoing threats is a very important thing, and emerging technologies are there. The sophistication technology is called advanced persistent techniques. It continuously monitors and it hunts any threats, and it is able to sort of detect and mitigate on real time. So there is also what is called as quantum key distribution. Have you heard of quantum computing? So we have done a lot of work on this, a secure communication method. How do you sort of mitigate the quantum threats? All of those kind of things are also very important. So what we have said in the last maybe 20-30 minutes now, how, for example, an ongoing threat takes place, how do you sort of detect the ongoing threat, and then the post-mortem analysis after the threat, and how do you sort of use AI and machine learning to mitigate and solve these kind of disastrous techniques in life. So this is a brand new piece of work. There's a lot of work needs to be done. We have put a lot of foundational science. Thank you. If there are any questions, I would be able to answer that. Thank you. Are there any questions?
Any questions?
Okay, thank you very much. If there are any questions you have later on also, you can certainly email to me. I would be very happy to respond to those things, okay? Thank you very much.
I would like to thank for the insights and knowledge, sir.
Please come, sir.
The question?
No questions.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
We have one more.
We have one more session. It's an online session.
Yeah.
ಇದು ನಾನು ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇದೆ
Hello. You can hear me, right?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Let me welcome. I'll welcome, sir. I would like to welcome our speaker, Dr. Rajkumar Bhuya, is a Redmond Barry Distinguished Professor and Director of the Cloud Computing and Distributed Systems Laboratory at the University of Melbourne, Australia. He is also serving as a founding CEO of Manjara Soft, a spin-off company of university commercializing its innovation in cloud computing. He has completed his education doing his PhD from computer science and software engineering.
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir. You can talk. Yeah, I can hear you, but can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, sir. We can hear you all.
Yeah, good.
No problem. No problem.
What do we do now?
You are also visible. Yeah, you can start, sir.
So you already projected in the seminar hall?
Yes, sir. It is projected on the seminar hall, so you can talk, sir.
Okay. Because I can't see anybody, so that's why. Oh, can you give me permission to share the screen? It says no permission. Okay, now. Okay, so select the window. All right. Can you see the screen? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No, my screen is visible?
Visible, sir.
Okay, so then go ahead and start the introduction or whatever necessary. So do you want me to start presenting?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, now the seminar is, so okay, would you like to make any opening remark or what is the plan? Maybe keep one of your video on. Or should I share my Zoom? Maybe there is better.
Sir, I would like to welcome our speaker for today's event, Dr. Rajkumar Bhuya, is a Redmond Barry Distinguished Professor and Director of the Cloud Computing and Distributed Systems Laboratory at the University of Melbourne, Australia. He is also serving as a founding CEO of Manjara Soft, a spin-off company of university commercializing its innovation in cloud computing. Sir has completed his PhD in Computer Science and Software Engineering, Monash University, Master of Engineering in Computer Science and Engineering from UVC, Bangalore University. BE in Computer Science and Engineering from JM Institute of Technology, University of Mysore. Sir has done many achievements, made pioneering contribution at various aspects of distributed and cloud computing, grid computing, resource management, scheduling, and provisioning in distributed environments. Authored or co-authored over 800 research publications, including numerously highly cited papers and several books, and received IEEE Computer Society Technical Achievement Award for his outstanding contribution to the field of scalable computing. I would like to welcome you, sir. It's over for you.
Thank you. So now everyone can see my slide. Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just one slide, right? Okay, no problem. Go ahead. So I can go ahead now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, you can proceed.
Okay, so can this here entire screen then?
Sir, can you share your PPT? One second.
Yes. Okay, so okay, you can see the entire screen.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So thank you very much for inviting me to be part of this international conference focused on knowledge engineering and core communication technologies. So I thank Professor G.D. Raju, especially extending invitation. So we already heard about some of the recent advances in ICT area from previous speaker, Professor Iyengar. He mentioned briefly about security, and he also mentioned about cloud computing. So how cloud supports hosting of these applications such as IoT, AI, and so on. Very briefly mentioned. So now I'm going to discuss more in depth about the technology that supports those applications. So as you all know, so this field is rapidly progressing, and the use of cloud for supporting many applications, especially those coming from AI domain, are very popular, and which is also indicated here in terms of top technology trends. So application of AI, that's applied AI. Then moving forward to support these AI applications, what do we need? So we need cloud computing. So without cloud computing, AI applications can't really be enabled. So they require massive computing capability to predict something, to predict trends, so to determine better answer for your question. So recently, applied AI, one popular is this ChatGPT is made possible due to cloud computing. So then we'll also discuss about another emerging area in ICT, in IT area called quantum computing. So whose provides a huge capability for solving problems that were very difficult to solve in the traditional today's computers. So let's take a look at these in the context of AI applications. So with that, here is a brief outline. So very briefly touch on computing paradigm emergence. Primarily, I will focus on cloud computing. So then we take a look at some of the trends in this area and how the technology trend impact on the cloud architecture. So for example, emerging AI workload, how does it impact? So we'll discuss about that briefly. Then we take a look at one of our own technology called Aneka Cloud Application Platform, the recent version of the technology. Then I will discuss about other new paradigms such as edge and IoT very briefly. Then I will touch on quantum computing. So especially I will discuss about our own initiative in quantum computing and relate back to some of the new national efforts, such as National Quantum Mission in India. And then we conclude at the end. So with the first one, as you all know, computing has emerged, become now ubiquitous. During last 50, 60 years, we saw many advances in different aspects. Today we are in, the cloud computing has been around for last 10 years. So it has become ubiquitous, many applications already running. So furthermore, what we see is things such as quantum emerging. And right now, if you want to access some certain quantum computing capability, so today is available to select users through cloud. So therefore, these are very much interconnected development. Quantum is more focused on the producing new class of processor called QPUs, quantum processing units, and they can also be integrated in the cloud. So essentially what we get is this virtualized compute environment available like a utility, pay-as-you-go utility. So that means anyone can subscribe to this computing service, use it and pay for what they consume. This is the model. So as a result, it became massively popular. So in the past, advances in computing or any other technology were more and more driven by the requirements of big scientific applications or military application. But today they are driven by more and more big population. So applications that help big populations, such as smart cities, smart healthcare, these are very important applications. And so AI is also playing important role. And of course, cloud is a major player there. Coming to cloud computing, what it is. So if you look at here the global picture, so there will be, there are cloud service providers, just like we have ISP, Internet Service Provider, Telecom Service Provider. Similarly, cloud service provider. So what do? Cloud service providers put together necessary compute services, storage services, application services, somewhere in the network. You as a user no need to know where they are. All you need to focus is on you subscribe to those services, okay, and then use it for your requirement as necessary. Then after that, at the end, you pay for what you consume. So you get the service, you pay for what you consume. So even though this service that you consume maybe looks like you are getting from one service provider because you subscribe to that product, actually that is not the case. So the services from multiple providers are, used, put them together and offer them as a composite service to end users. So this is high level view of what cloud services are. Coming to applications of this technology are numerous. So during last 10 years, we saw many applications from the scientific community, then business applications, obviously. Then today, if you set up a startup, we heard some of the other alumni of this college, so building startup companies, supporting necessary capabilities such as customer management, resource planning, accounting, and so on. These are all capabilities available in the network as services. Then coming to more consumer world. So this is a consumer world. So there you see, for example, this video conferencing or Google link that we're using today. So these are actually cloud services. So somewhere in the cloud, this video conferencing is hosted and connecting users like all of you being in Bengaluru and I'm being here in Melbourne, Australia. So we are connected and able to communicate. So easily, this is made possible through cloud-hosted video conferencing software. Then, of course, social media systems such as Twitter, they're hosted in cloud. Even the Facebook is also a cloud-based application. And the ChatGPT, another popular natural language processing application, AI application, these are also running on the cloud. So another one is something called Dropbox, the cloud-based storage. So you can see lots of applications that we're using today are enabled by cloud computing. And what to speak of that, things such as WhatsApp. Many of us are using for communicating, but WhatsApp provides you hosting environment to connect users, but there is hosting and connectivity services provided through application service hosted in a cloud. So this is the really success of cloud computing. Now, moving forward, so what are the new challenges or technology trends that impact on this the future of cloud application creation? So first, the first generation clouds were what we call virtualized through something called as virtual machine. When you rent something in cloud, you rent virtual machine. But today, so these move towards what we call containers. Then of course, there's also a concept called microservices. the approach to software engineering is changing. So you create microservices, then you host on a cloud environment that are distributed, and they are put together, composed together to create a application service. Also, this is going to change on software engineering. The first generation software engineering is monolithic based, monolithic oriented software engineering, and the second generation is what we call service oriented, and of course the third generation is what we call microservice based. So this is a very big change in approach towards software engineering also. So that way we can create highly scalable applications. And not only the machines are virtualized, but so not only computers are virtualized, but also networks are also virtualized. So that is through what we call software-defined networks. Then coming to the blockchain, we all hear about blockchain in the context of digital currency, like such as bitcoins. So these blockchains can also be integrated into such computing environment to create trustable application services. Suppose if you've got a healthcare application service, integrating sensing, IoT sensor, medical sensor, connected with the edge, connected with the cloud, then they're offering you, healthcare services. So you want to make sure that those services are trustable. You don't want anybody in the pathway to tamper your input data or deliver the tamper result. So that can be done by integrating blockchain. I will discuss briefly about this, how we can do in the real world. So then, of course, obviously, when you look at applications such as AI, this is rapidly moving. So we need to advance the technology. We want to support the application. Then the new hardware such as quantum, TPU have come. We need to also be able to integrate. So these are requirements and applications. Then obviously, AI is a big class of application, and you can see its application in several domains. From healthcare is one of them. Then natural processing, such as the ChatGPT. Then of course we talk about other social media, especially if you read newspapers recently about all this election happening. So you can create deep fake or videos and all that you can push. So these are our applications, and these are all hosted in cloud computing environment. So how do they impact on the cloud architecture? So let's discuss about those aspects. So if you look at this cloud computing environment broadly, what it is and what you actually see at the bottom, physical machines which are servers, and these are interconnected, and these are virtualized through virtual machines. And and also nowadays the computer continuous communication. And the network that connect all the servers is virtualized through SDN. And also the network that connect such distributed cloud data center. Cloud data centers are always distributed around the world to provide the best response time to large number of users from wherever they are. So they are also connected to the SDN. So this is at the underlying infrastructure. Now let's go to the users here at the top. When users make a request to cloud environment, so they specify what is the need. So they might specify, I need a compute capability with so much of gigahertz, so much of memory, so much of storage, given requirement. So the requirement comes to the cloud entry point, within control. So based on the requirement, let us say you are allocated appropriate compute capability. So please note, there is no compute server named after you or given to you. What is offered in the cloud is a virtual capability. So that is what is rented. You rent it, dynamically this virtual machine is mapped to a physical machine. Now, on that capability, you are running your application. And with time, number of users supporting the application can increase drastically. So for example, the number of users initially begin with say 1,000 and suddenly become maybe 10,000 users. So if you start serving those requests, application services using only the initial allocation, you'll suffer quality of service. So response time will be very slow. What do? So dynamically provision extra resource as per the requirement. So this property of cloud is called elasticity. So the resources that you are provisioning to your users can come from a data center located in one place, that is a data center in Bangalore. It may also get resource from a data center based in, let's say, Delhi. So this way, the users who are coming from Delhi, they may be dynamically served from cloud data center located in Delhi, but this is done in a seamless manner. Okay, so end user no need to know where they are. So this will provide a seamless access to the required capability to deliver application services to those users. And with time, the demand can decrease. When the demand decreases, you reduce the allocation. So by doing so, you can provide cost-efficient services that are affordable. And also, you can also provide energy-efficient cloud services, because these cloud data centers consume enormous amount of energy. For information, there are more than 8 million such cloud data centers are there all over the world. And amount of electric energy they are consuming is actually more than entire India's energy consumption. So the massive amount of energy consumption. So therefore, these clouds have become something like as important as national highways. So therefore, these are considered the critical, infrastructure. They need to be powered, and these are running applications 24 hours a day, /7 days a week throughout the year. So that means we need to build them, make them efficient. Not only the approach to resource management, but also approach to application engineering. Plus, how do you build application that can be scaled down horizontally or vertically as necessary, depending upon number of users that are hosting or supporting them. So this is where comes the technology called Aneka. So Aneka is a cloud application platform. So that support creation of rapid creation of elastic application, because application need to be able to expand or shrink based on number of resources allocated based on the demand on the application service. So for this purpose, this Aneka provides you two key components. The first one is SDK, second one runtime machinery. SDK stands for Software Development Kit. So this software development kit has various APIs such as thread model, task model, MapReduce. All of these can be used to create different types of application. We will discuss and those applications. And then once you create, you can deploy them either on a private cloud environment, which can be within your own organization, or on a public cloud resources that you rent from the real world, from the commercial providers, or you can combine them together. Private cloud and public cloud capabilities can be combined together through the runtime machinery. So these are the two key capabilities Aneka has. And here we say this is the world first approach, technology platform supporting multiple models of programming, and then which you can deploy in different cloud services. So how is it made possible? So when you look at cloud, our Aneka architecture, so this is a service-oriented content architecture, wherein we have many foundation services that are noted here, offering membership, reservation, storage, licensing, and so on, and plus profiling. So these services can be used to create new model of programming. The way you create, like task model, thread model, MapReduce. In the future, if you come out with some new model of programming, new idea, you can implement that also for Aneka. And once you implement, you can deploy those application services either on a private cloud or on a public cloud or a hybrid cloud, as I already mentioned. And this approach to creation of such new models, that approach is something very unique. So we have a US patent on this and also India patent. And a year ago, we have licensed this patent to several IT companies that you can think of. Okay, so that means the impact of this approach is already being felt, not only for our direct product. So this Aneka, how do you program in a simple term? So let us say you probably provision dynamically a couple of servers. Within that, some of them are acting as Aneka manager, others are acting as an Aneka worker service. So now application programming. So we want to support large number of users. There may be IoT applications, for example. So these days, it is very common to see in colleges, they are deploying several hundreds of cameras in different places, in classroom, in halls, and everywhere. And also in cities, many cameras are there. And these cameras data, images and videos are coming in, video, audios and all. You want to dynamically detect some object of interest. So how do you do? Like, let's say there is a task. So here is a task and this is a body to process that. And if you want to run this task across multiple requests, multiple users, multiple cameras, all you need to do is, here is something loop, like for I equal to 1 to n. Then you just create a number of tasks, then submit. That's all. You just need to build so very easily. And after that, you give it to Aneka manager. This will take care of distributing the workload and number of users across all of these based on how many compute resources are provisioned, based on how many requests are originating. So programming made easy. So cloud application programming should be very easy. So because the cloud computing is for everyone, the people who are experts in, maybe medical experts should be able to build application with little computing programming knowledge and little expertise on how to build such application. So now this for this application, the resources are dynamically provisioned. They are not statically allocated, dynamically allocated. Let me illustrate with an example. So here is the image that we want to process and convert that image into filter and maybe convert into some other. So what do? You split this image into multiple segments, and each of the segment become Aneka's thread. Then that system is submitted to manager, and those all tasks are deployed in various places, correct? And after processing, the results of the processing come back, and then so the results is given back to the application. When the results is given back, and what you see is this translation of this image into emboss, correct? This became an emboss. Just emboss like those, you can find on a coin. If you take like 5 rupees coin, at the other side you see some personalities. So this is emboss, converting a photo into emboss. This is image filtering. So and meanwhile, whatever resources are allocated are clear. You can see here, no resource available. So which means, so you only provision what you need, when you need, how long you need, based on the user requirement. So this is a unique approach. So this Aneka, obviously you run it on private cloud. As I told you, you can also run on public cloud such as Windows Azure. You can rent capability, or Amazon, you can run there. But unfortunately, each of those cloud service providers have their own access interface. So their own way of programming, which means that becomes very difficult. So thanks to Aneka, you build your application at once, then you can deploy that application across different type of cloud services in a seamless manner. And that is made possible by Aneka adapters. Aneka software adapters we created for each of those different cloud services. So this way, as application developer, you focus on just application engineering, do not worry about deployment and other things. That is taken care of Aneka. So let me illustrate the power of this Aneka in the context of a couple of applications. One from China Railways Corporation, other from India, many of those, Washington State University. So for example, this Washington State University, so they have this medical application, deploying medical application. Whenever deploying medical data analytics, you also have data that are maybe security or privacy concern. You don't want to take some patient data, put it on public cloud. No. So there are constraints. In such cases, so they will be able to deploy on a private cloud. So for that purpose, this Washington State University user Aneka, they built some deep learning classifier that classifies medical records into sensitive, non-sensitive. The sensitive records are first on hospital cloud, non-sensitive sent to public cloud. So like this, many interesting applications. Now let me illustrate 2 or 3 of these with more in depth. So here is one from China. China, one of the application is this China Railways Corporation. They have different train design scenarios, and they need to render, analyze all those scenarios to find out one that best meets the requirement. So for that purpose, they do a lot of things in terms of analyzing the data, scenarios using the software called Maya, and they were running on this 4-core server. So this 4-core server execution was taking anywhere between something like 24 hours to 4 days. That is 24 hours to 80 hours for given scenario analysis. So that is too long to wait. So therefore, they set up this private cloud using our Aneka, and we have a tool called Design Explorer. Using Design Explorer, they are able to compose this scenario of analysis as SPMD, single program multiple data application model, then create it and deploy on the cloud. So by doing so, what took on single server something like here you see 80 hours, the same thing they are able to do it in 2 hours. So this is reduced to time to discovery. You don't have to wait 4 days just to get answer in 2 hours. Now, so the question is, sometime there may be one urgency. You want answer in 10 minutes. You don't want to wait for 2 hours. So what do? Within this Aneka, we have a feature called deadline. You can say deadline is equal to 10 minutes. Okay? You can set deadline equal to 10 minutes in real time. Then, so using local resource, it takes 2 hours, but I want to answer in 10 minutes. So therefore, what can I do? I can release extra resource from a public cloud offered by companies such as, Amazon, Azure, many other service providers in India also can use them. So then obviously they are going to charge you, and different providers charge you different price. Therefore, you also want to set budget limit. Budget is equal to something like, let's say, 50 rupees. Given a deadline and a budget of rupees, 50 rupees. So the system on your behalf looks into what you need, what are the extra capability you need, accordingly rent extra resource for you, then combine your local resource and the public cloud resource accordingly and meet those and process all the requests dynamically and give results back within the deadline of 10 minutes and of course be within the limit of the budget of 50 rupees that you share. This is a very unique approach to resource management or allocation, just like the way we operate in real world. Similarly, we made technology that works that way. So that was from China. Then coming to India, of course, I am first giving you some bigger application. ISRO, as you all know, ISRO has been launching different satellites for different purposes, sometimes disaster management, communication satellite and others. So this conference today focuses on knowledge engineering and communication networks or communication technologies. So this is trendy. So this is the satellites, maybe even they are deployed even on moon also, which ISRO did. So this satellite monitor, for example, some Earth activity. Then the data comes to receiving station. From there, you put it in local. Then you need to obviously write application that analyze this data and figure out solution in real time. So for disaster management, they build application. They use ICKECS so that they can detect the disaster planning in real time. So this uses ICKECS in analysis of the images, satellite images rapidly to get answer in real time. Even they also, sometimes they may have to use public cloud or they may have to use this cloud data center located in different ISRO centers throughout the country, either Bengaluru Center, Trivandrum Center, Hyderabad Center, Gujarat Center or Delhi Center, and use them as necessary based on the emergency requirement. So that is healthcare. I mean, there is some big satellite processing application. Now come to healthcare. This is something all of us need, common people need. In healthcare, as you all know, these days very easily you can get IoT medical sensors monitoring different bodily aspects available at a small price. Even the watches also can capture those. Then from there you can send it to your mobile phone app running here. An app can maybe able to do, but it can run out of battery. So therefore, real application services are in cloud. So here is one called ECG analysis service application, and this is built on top of ICKECS, which can run on Amazon or any other cloud service. So here users, initially you might have just users, lots of users can come in. Some users in emergency, they might say, please give me answer in 2 minutes. Some users relax, they might say, here is health data, please analyze and give me answer in 24 hours. Okay, so this 24 hours. Like this, lots of requests are coming in to this service request. When they come, ICKECS is able to prioritize and manage them and allocate, and then so that their requirements are met. So this is a cloud-based service for supporting healthcare application. And we have been showing this, different editions of this application. So here is one we saw a couple of years ago. So this is a sensor, data comes in, and then from here, then we send it to mobile phone, and from there send it to somewhere remote cloud where processing is done, and the results come back. So now you can see here this graph. Looking at this graph, you can tell a lot about health condition of a person. You can make a recommendation how to take care, what kind of food to eat, how much to sleep, and so on. So these are technology-based healthcare services. So this is approach where you can integrate sensing, mobility, and cloud together. So these days, everyone is speaking about AI. So in AI, they usually means 3-4 things: either NLP, natural language processing, or this deep learning for object detection, or machine learning, prediction, and so on. So here is something, deep learning for object detection, which integrate IoT cameras. So these are different cameras deployed, the data coming in. Okay, so these data, what do you want to do? You want to detect object of interest. Okay, for that purpose, people usually have this deep learning program. So there was one program called Deep.Py, it's a ready-made Python program, and we made cloud-enabled. So these actually students from IIT have cloud-enabled their application. So thereby you can process all this data in real time, because detecting objects in real time is very important. You don't want to take like a security application. So if there's an intruder, you must detect immediately within few seconds so that you can do some action. So such application. You can see you can integrate computing capability from different workers, from Azure, from Amazon, use them together for real-time detection. So here is, for example, an input. So this is a usual computer center, so there are computers, people, and so on. So when you process, here is the detection that talks about how many monitors are there, how many keyboards are there, how many chairs are there, how many mouse are there, how many people are there. Like this, you can detect in real time. So this can be very useful. Example of creating cloud-based deep learning application for object detection. So next, this is another last example of this Aneka-based application, which is data mining, machine learning. So as you know, especially this COVID, from 2020 to 2020 to 2024, during that period of 3 years or 4, almost close to 1 million research papers are published in different aspects of this scenario. So, for example, if you want to know what is the best personal protection equipment, what is the preparation vaccine, or which vaccine is the best for the new variant of COVID. So, what do? So, these all 1 million research papers are published, and they are made available data set, something called COVID-19, COVID Open Research Dataset Challenge. There is a challenge dataset available. You can take the data set, then if you want answer real time, we took the data set and trained. Then after that we created the cloud application using Aneka. Then process this data. Then of course where user can pose a query. You can ask for a question like, okay, give me a research paper that discusses about dealing with this kind of variant of vaccine, and preferably the paper authored by professors, researchers from University of Melbourne and Bangalore Medical Center. So if you put like that, it will go through all those millions of records and gives you, here is the paper meeting your requirement. So you can say this is search engine for giving the answer on analyzing all the publications related to COVID. How much time it takes depends upon how many papers you got. So for example, here is the execution in second. So when you run with 50,000 records of publication, so it was able to give answer within some 25 minutes or so. But if you want to answer in maybe just 1 minute, 2 minutes, what do? You can dynamically provision extra resource. Specify a deadline. I want answer in half a minute. I want the answer in 20 minutes. You specify. Accordingly, the system is dynamically able to provision right number of resources and give you answer very quickly. So here is an example of you provision 4 versus just 1. So you can see. So this way you can discover things very faster. And this is the machine learning for some practical application. So this Aneka, we recently released, 6.0. So this is available from Andhra startup company. You can actually download from here. So explore. So all the youngsters can learn cloud application programming, write some interesting application in, data analytics or machine learning or image processing or IoT. So number of class applications you can create and then explore. So this technology is not only used in application engineering. Numerous universities, for example, India, in China, in Brazil, in Nepal, in Malaysia, various places, they are teaching cloud computing subjects, application programming using Aneka. So, for example, for India, so you can see lots of universities, for example, JNU, Delhi, then Hyderabad, then coming to Karnataka, particularly here. So, several premier institutes in Karnataka like MSRIT, NIT Karnataka, NIE, PS IT, then RVC, MC Hassan, and so on. So many people have already set up cloud apps and using this. Then of course many NITs, some of the IITs also. So several state institutes such as RTU, Rajasthan Technical University in Bhopal, across the Then likewise in VTU also. So many places our book is being taught. So that students become much more knowledgeable in this area. And these Aneka labs are, as I said, they set up all the way from, something like Kashmir, here the Kanyakumari. You can see there are various deployment here, and also from Maharashtra to Meghalaya, across the country. We have deployments of Aneka throughout the country where students are learning this concept of programming and doing some innovative work themselves. So now with that cloud computing, so let me talk about a bit more about IoT. This Internet of Things. There are many Internet of Things applications. So having sensor deployed on the physical world, now you can connect that with the digital world, and you can create a smart world. So this is what people call it a smart city, smart healthcare, smart transport, driverless, smart agriculture. These are different applications. There you integrate IoT, cloud together. So the first generation IoT applications, as earlier presented, so traditionally they used to be hosted on cloud environment, for application. But that was okay with when you have few. But with billions of sensing devices deployed everywhere, if you push all the data to the cloud, what happens? The response time will be, slow. So therefore, what do? So we can also use resources at the edge of the network. So you can have some of the edge resources, edge compute resources. You can use edge resources. Sometimes you can use also cloud resources together. So this is what we call edge computing, and using both together is called fog computing. Now, what is the benefit? Some application illustration. Before that, here is something called fog bus we created. So this fog bus comes with blockchain. Why blockchain? Because as I mentioned, if you're getting healthcare data from these devices, you don't want anybody to tamper those data. So you can, this stream of data coming in, you create a chain of blocks of the data. Then you give it to this fog bus framework. So the data comes in, then data sent it to the management platform, which can use the edge resources. And what are the edge resources? It can be tiny computer like a matchbox size Raspberry Pi computer. So in a smart signaling system, in a smart cities, this can be deployed easily various near the camera itself. So most of the things are done near the camera. Then if something can be done also in the cloud in a seamless manner. So this is the concept. We have applied this to many healthcare applications. One of them is the sleep apnea. So here is a sensor that can be connected to the finger and send the data to HealthKeeper app, and then from there you send it to the edge and cloud. So after processing, it is able to present the results back, indicating the disease severity. Is it mild? Is it normal? Is it emergency? If it is emergency, you must quickly take the person to the hospital. So this is a very integration, nice integration. And here is, for example, showing the same thing graphically. And you can see this device, the healthcare device connected, and the data comes, and using the mobile, and we are able to process either this the local edge or also remote cloud in a manner. So this way you can get answer in a real time to support those applications. And of course, this embedded with blockchain. So that was all practical, what I discussed so far. And we also built a simulator. Suppose if you don't have all this facility, you can do modeling and simulation. For that purpose, we have got this FoxSim, the simulator, which can be used to simulate various kind of scenarios of IoT application and also the facility. Then using that, you can do research on resource management and scheduling. So this is a discrete event simulation, those who like to explore. So furthermore, quantum processors are slowly arriving, and so they are being offered to some of the consumers through cloud. So let me illustrate a little bit about this quantum. So before we discuss about this quantum, but of course for India, so here is the national mission, quantum mission India has. Then they are promising to run this mission from effectively 2024 to 2030. So hopefully 2031. So this mission has called just various plan is launched. I think due to election they have stopped a little bit, but after election, depending upon who wins, so this mission will continue, I'm sure, whether in the same form or variation. Anyway, so quantum computing. Let me say a little bit of our own. So we have an initiative called iQuantum, initiative at Melbourne University. As part of this initiative, we developed two important technology and already published, already made available for the global usage. So I wanted to make sure that, so just recently, there are such missions in India, I mean, of course, India I mentioned, in Singapore, in Australia, in other countries, including US also, in Europe. Just missions are starting. Before that, we want to make this software technology available for large-scale adoption. And here is one technology called QFAS. This is a quantum function as a service. So this is to enable rapid creation of quantum application and deployment in a seamless manner. I will discuss a little bit soon. Then also we have a tool simulation environment. So many people large, mostly 99.99% of people may not have access to quantum capability right now. But you can use the simulator to do some research in this area. So this iQuantum can be helpful from that perspective. So those of you who, maybe not familiar, today quantum programming is very primitive. If you go back something like 40, 50 years ago, the programming digital computers were very primitive, using punch card and using very machine language, maybe high level assembly language. Similarly, quantum programming is very much like a digital circuitry. You here in quantum, unlike digital computers, where you got binary 0 or 1, correct? State representation. But in quantum, you can have multiple states. So that is why you can build a quantum computer with, for example, 10 qubits. 10 qubits. It can be 10 states at any point. So here are the different input qubits that are coming in. Now you want to process all this data. How do you process? So you create a circuit. This is quantum circuitry for random number generation, for example. So where you can use different gates, Hamdard gate, AND gate, OR gate, NOR gate. There are different gates are there. You put together, then from that you create a application. This is called quantum circuitry for application. So like that, and then each quantum service provider, they have their own way of expressing. So this makes very complex. To simplify this process, we created this quantum function service, wherein you can create quantum functions. These are quantum functions, and you submit to the layer, and they will look it. Is your application containing many functions? Like for example, C program, they may contain standard C function, also quantum function. If some function is quantum function, you deploy that on a quantum system, otherwise you process on a classical computer. So this is the environment that we created. So this way we can simplify the process of development of quantum application and the deployment. So this is like better software engineering. This is one technology. Practically you can download it, more detail, you read our paper and download. So coming to, and also this iQuantum I mentioned, and just for information, the cloud technology has been around during last 10, 12 years. So earlier everyone talks about virtual machines. Later something called continuous computing picture. Then came serverless computing picture. Now quantum as a service is a new thing. So therefore we developed this simulator, iQuantum. So this is an open source simulator you can download. If you are already familiar with the quantum, cloud computing, so this is a cloud environment where you can also add a data center having quantum processor, QPUs. Then after creating a QPU, you can create how many qubits? The qubits can be 10 qubits, 100 qubits, 1,000 qubits, 10,000 qubits. Such systems not available, but you can model and simulate. So when you can create those quantum computer, simulate, and then you can create a quantum task where you express in terms of how many layers, how many gate set, and what are they. Then accordingly, you can do research on resource allocation scheduling using this iQuantum. So this is one technology available. You can download and explore right away the concept of quantum computing before quantum computers actually come. Yeah. So with that, let me conclude. There are several computing paradigms of promise how to make computing as a utility. Today we have got cloud computing that made it possible. Then exciting business and consumer applications are there. Any of you, when you have a mobile phone, when you just check WhatsApp application, which means you are using already cloud. So that's success. Then in terms of application engineering, as the newer class of applications are coming, new class of hardware are coming, the field is rapidly emerging. So here is Aneka technology that is designed to support rapid software engineering. At the same time, deploying those applications within your user constraints, such as your deadline, budget limit. And we already discussed a number of examples of how this Aneka has been used in machine learning, deep learning, and various healthcare applications. Also the China, India, and US application. Then coming to IoT, Internet of Things, rapidly moving from first generation IoT to the cloud-centric to edge-centric. As a result, we can support low latency application, real-time application. Communication need to be in real time, in few microseconds. So you need a new approach. Then quantum, of course, everywhere quantum is slowly coming up. Of course, it may take several years before this quantum processor comes on mobile phone, on the standard desktop. It will take. But anyway, the biggest challenges is software. So hardware is slowly coming up. but also software today is very primitive. So we need to do more research in that area, more innovation in this area. And I briefly explained to you QFAS and iQuantum simulator. So hopefully this will inspire you to think of what this quantum computing is, what are the open challenges you read through, and then work on it. And for cloud computing, we put together this manifesto for future generation computing, cloud computing. So it has very much plans up to 2030. You can go through the manifesto to see what are the new open challenges that you can address yourself. So likewise, also for quantum and all, we release paper. And so with that, if you want to learn more about cloud computing, for example, so here is a book, Mastering Cloud Computing. So this may be something like, American edition, $99, that has got various, not only foundation of cloud computing, but also discussion on how to program this using ICKECS. So then the same book is available for India market for small price, something like maybe $8 equivalent, some 500 rupees. You can easily get India also. So this is published by McGraw-Hill. Then for Chinese also we got in Chinese language. This is something like just $3 equivalent. So this way affordability is also important. Make sure that the content is also affordable. Yeah, and as the field is rapidly progressing, so just recently, so we are releasing the second edition of this book, adding new content that talks about how to do AI programming using ICKECS, how to do IoT application programming, how to do edge, all that. This is a new one. So it should be in the market available for all of you in India by the end of this month. So that in case if you want to learn this further more. So with that, let me stop here. So I'd like to thank all of you for hearing patiently. So here are my links. So this is my Melbourne University email ID. So this is something like Saraswati. I think during inauguration, one of your alumni student was mentioning about, you need to not only have idea that is pursuing like Saraswati, but your idea also should be able to translate and put it in real world. And if you want to do that, so you can use ICKECS. And of course, if you want to create something interesting, you can contact me using, this is what I call Lakshmi, email ID. And this is Saraswati. If you want to do more research and study at Melbourne or interact with me, you can do that. With that, let me stop here. And I'd like to thank all of you for hearing patiently. So you can now ask any questions that you got. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your wonderful presentation. Sir, I hope so. There are no more questions from the student side. From the management of SJCIT and IEEE conference organizing chairpersons, I would like to thank Dr. Rajkumar Bhuya sir for his wonderful presentation and the insights and a great knowledge. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
age of 17, he founded a company and became CEO of that. Dr. S.S. Iyengar, Sitaram Iyengar ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದವರು, Florida International University, Rider Professor and Director of Distributed Systems, India. Mangalar Swamiji, Secretary of the Agricultural System Trust, Dr. Sriram Reddy, Chief Administrative Officer of the Dr. Parth Shamji, Senior Principal Engineer at the Intel Corporation. Mangalar Swamiji, Secretary of the Agricultural System Trust, Dr. Sriram Reddy, Secretary of the student after this course on the IEEE system.
For giving us the gift of your presence here this morning. We have a special gentleman and it's my privilege to introduce him to the gathering. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, to welcome all of you with his official welcome address, please join us in welcoming to the lectern the Principal of SJCIT, Dr. G.T. Raju.
Jai Shri Gurudev. With the divine blessings of Parama Pujya Jagadguru, Padma Bhushana, Shri Dr. Balagangadhanath Mahaswamiji, submitting my humble and devout pranams at the lotus feet of His Holiness Jagadguru, Shri Dr. Nirmalanandanath Mahaswamiji, seeking the blessings from Puja Shri Mangalanath Swamiji and Sai Kirtinath Swamiji, respected dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, fellow faculty members, delegates who have come from various institutes, and my dear fellow faculty members as well as present media. A very good morning to all of you, and it's my pleasure and privilege to welcome you all formally for the second International Conference on Knowledge Engineering and Communication Systems. Organizing an international conference of this stature is a difficult proposition, but with the unwavering support by our magnanimous management, it has become easy. The backbone of all our activities, the chief patron of this international conference, an IITian, mastered in ancient Sanskrit as well as modern education, Pontiff of Sri Adi Chinchinagiri Mahasamsthana Math, President of Sri Adi Chinchinagiri Shikshana Trust, he is with us and he is our guiding force. Our Mahaswamiji is our guiding force. With the divine leadership of our Mahaswamiji, we could able to do all such activities without any hindrance at any point of time. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of all of us, would like to welcome our Mahaswamiji, submitting my devoteful pranams at his lotus feet. I would welcome our Mahaswamiji for this second international conference on knowledge engineering and communication systems. I request our Chief Administrative Officer N. Shivaram Reddy sir to offer a bouquet to formally welcome our Mahaswamiji to this function. Next, I would like to extend cordial welcome to Puja Shri Mangalanath Swamiji, Secretary, Sri Adi Chinchinagiri Shikshana Trust, Tikballapura Division for the second international conference. I request our CEO sir to offer a bouquet and formally welcome our Puja Shri Mangalanath Swamiji. I extend cordial welcome to Puja Shri Sai Kirtinath Swamiji for the second international conference. Next, we have with us our chief guest, Mr. Suhas Gopinath, who is the Indian entrepreneur, founder, chief executive officer, Global Incorporation Limited, and also advisor, National Science Technology Entrepreneurship Development Board, DSC, Department of Science and Technology, New Delhi, Government of India. So we are fortunate to have you with us, sir. Thank you for accepting our invitation. Sir, we wholeheartedly welcome for the second international conference. I request our Puja Mahaswamiji to honor Suhas Gopinath. One more distinguished personality with us, Dr. Parsarthi Ramaswamy, who is the Senior Principal Engineer at Intel Corporation, Bangalore, who has done his PhD from IISc and has got more than 28 years of experience at industry, and he is with us among us. Thank you so much, sir, for accepting our invitation and being with us today. I request our Puja Mangalanath Swamiji to honor Dr. Parsarthi and formally welcome to this second international conference. We have with us another distinguished person, Dr. S.S. Iyengar, Sitaram Iyengar sir. He is the Ryder Professor and also Director of Computer Science at Florida International University, Miami, Florida, USA. Sir, thank you for accepting our invitation and being with us today. A hearty welcome to the second international conference, sir. I request our Swamiji to honor Dr. S.S. Iyengar. We have one more invited speaker, Dr. Rajkumar Bhuiya, who will be joining online who is the Director, Cloud Computing and Distributed Systems at University of Melbourne, Australia. We wholeheartedly welcome Dr. Rajkumar Bhuya also for this second international conference. And we have our guest of honor, Dr. Parameshwachari BD, who is the Student Activities Chair at IEEE Bangalore section, who is also Professor and Head of Electronics and Communication Engineering, NMIT Bangalore. So we wholeheartedly welcome you for the second international conference. We have with us our own Chief Administrative Officer, BGS Group of Institutions, Chikkaballapura Division, Dr. N. Shivaram Reddy sir. On behalf of all of us, we would like to extend cordial welcome to you for the second international conference, sir. I'd like to extend cordial welcome to all the heads of the departments, professors, principals, delegates, professors of different institutions who have come here as session chairs, and delegates, authors, and also the students of our institution for the second international conference. I'd like to recognize and acknowledge the contributions of researchers who have contributed their articles in our conference, and also the reviewers who have reviewed our papers, and sponsors, advisory committee members, technical committee members, press and media for this second international conference. Ladies and gentlemen, so I would like to conclude this welcome speech once again extending cordial welcome to all of you. Jai Shri Gurudev.
(2024).